Good morning, Jackie here from Yoga Harmony. I talk a lot in my morning journal posts about Ujjayi breath, ocean sounding breath. I know many of you know this technique, but I also feel fairly certain that there's quite a few of you that don't. And since I find it so life transforming, I just wanted to share some of my practice. So let's find a space, let's breathe and practice Ujjayi breath, the balancing breath. Who doesn't need more balance in their life? Now, I'll assume that you can find some way to comfortably sit. I do have a video on my YouTube channel that does talk about different ways to sit for meditation. So if you're yet to find a comfortable place that you can sit in for 10 minutes or so, I'd encourage you to have a look at that, find your own way of comfort and ease, and then go from there. Ujjayi breath, or ocean sounding breath as it's often known, is where we have an internal constriction of the throat. It's purposeful, it's soft, it's gentle. It's so that we can slow the breath down. So your breath is going to travel in through your nostrils and out through your nostrils, but it's passing through this throat space, which instead of being very open and broad, we're going to purposefully constrict. And the idea of that is that we're slowing the breath down. We want the breath to very slowly inhale into the body, and we want the outgoing breath to very slowly exhale from the body. The point of this breath is to have it as long and slow and deep as we possibly can. And the reason behind that is the slower we have the breath, the more soft and gradual and calm are the brainwave patterns. So if you're feeling a little hurried or frazzled, if there's tightness and distress through body and mind, if there's anxiousness, then this is something that will really promote the opposite of that. It's calming, steadying, unifying, aligning. It's pretty much the breath I practice probably about 70% of the time, perhaps even more. I really love it. It makes a very dramatic difference. Let's practice a little first and we'll find our way with Ujjayi breath. It's easier to observe the exhaled Ujjayi breath. So we'll start with that first. Just take a lovely natural breath in. And then as you exhale, see if you can tighten the internal throat muscles a little and exhale through your nose. Now, I should say that breathing in this fashion will often, there's sound associated with it. We don't want to purposefully enhance the sound, but there will be a natural sound there because we are constricting the throat and we're moving the breath through a smaller space. So again, take a breath in, slightly constrict the throat muscles and exhale through your nostrils. And keep going in this way. Natural breath in, slight constriction of the throat. See if as you exhale, you can make something that resembles a soft ocean sound. Again, natural breath in, constriction of the throat, and practicing the Ujjayi breath on the way out. So most people find that the out breath, it's quite easy to access. It might take a few goes. You might have to practice it over several days, not for several days. You might practice it several times, and most people can generally have that sense. That constriction you feel, we want to practice that on the in-breath. For many people, it is a little more challenging in the beginning, but it will come. If it doesn't come initially, don't worry, you're not alone. This often takes repeated practice. Close your eyes, slightly constrict the internal space of the throat, and inhale through the nostrils. And then exhale that breath in the same fashion. Practice again. Slight constriction of the throat. Inhale through the nostrils. Feel as if your belly expands and that you're inviting the breath deep down into the belly. And in your own time, Ujjayi breath out. Keep practicing, no force or no strain, just a gentle curiosity about this breath. Slight constriction of the throat as you inhale. If you think about the belly expanding, you might find in time that the breath almost feels like it's being vacuumed into the body. And this often has a sense of great ease. There's no force or no strain. The breath is just simply coming in, into the belly, in via that throat. The next time you come to inhale, have that slight constriction of the throat, imagine momentarily that you're trying to smell the scent of a rose through the throat. And let the out-breath naturally follow. Keep practicing in your own time. That awareness, that reference to inhaling or smelling the scent of a flower through the throat, it often just helps bring awareness to where we need it to be, as if we're opening up particular faculties of the throat that we've never accessed before. So let's settle down if you feel inclined to practice some Ujjayi breath. So there'll be no guidance from here, we simply practice in our own time. If you do feel any sense of strain or discomfort, then completely soften the throat. Just let the technique relax. But otherwise, let's practice together and let this be entirely exploratory, particularly if you're new to Ujjayi breath. So, come to gradually release Ujjayi breath. Finish, of course, the breath that you're currently working on. And as the final Ujjayi out breath leaves the body for today, relax the throat and just stay with the body still. Keep the breath soft and gentle. Take a few minutes to notice. Does anything feel different on the inside, through the mind, through the body? Perhaps a sense of enhanced calm. Just notice for a few moments what it is you notice. So you can come to gradually ease the eyes open. You might notice that whilst working with Ujjayi breath, sometimes you'll have other soft sounds that do come from the throat. That's perfectly okay. Please don't be self-conscious about this. We're practicing our Ujjayi breath, but we're working with the human body. I hope you find it beneficial. It is one of my favorite practices. The only other thing I would add here that I commonly work with is to keep the mind really focused, because it is possible, of course, to semi-practice Ujjayi breath and have the mind sort of diverting on another path while you're doing so. The way I personally keep my focus is I keep a gentle awareness of the breath. So for instance, often when I start Ujjayi breath first thing in the morning, I practice breathing in for a count of 6, and I practice breathing out for a count of 6. Then I start to insert a very small pause at the top of the in breath and at the end of the out breath. So I'll count in for 6 and pause, out for 6 and pause. And once I've got that rhythm very firmly established, then I start to lengthen the breath. So only when the breath feels very comfortable, then I start to breathe in for a count of 8 and I pause. And I breathe out for a count of 8 and I pause. And when that's firmly established, and only if the breath feels comfortable, like I could go further without any strain, then I start to breathe in for 10 and I breathe out for 10. And if I can manage that, and only if the breath is still fluid, if there's room for extension, then I might start to breathe in for 12 and pause, and breathe out for 12 and pause. It's important that we never strain. We don't want the breath to feel forced or jagged, difficult, strained. If we ever experience these qualities, then we're practicing or extending or pressing just a little too far for now. It's possible to get the breath quite lengthened. So I've found when I've had very deep internal stillness and I've really been completely present with the practice, that I can get the breath to 16. 16 in, pause, 16 out and pause. But I've never forced that, and I don't actually access 16 very often. I can't make myself go there. Either my breath and my body is relaxed and there's capacity in the lungs to explore that, or there's not. Most days I tend to work with between 8 to 12 counts for the in and the exhale. So what's important here is not the length of your count, it's not the length of your breath, it's that you're honest and that you have integrity. If your breath starts to feel frayed and frazzled and strained after 6, then your count is 6. Or perhaps actually it's a bit sooner, perhaps the count is 4. So the count, the numerical number to the count, is not important. It's the integrity with which you approach the practice that is most relevant here. All right, I hope Ujjayi breath has been comfortable. At this point, I've had half an hour of yoga. I've had 10 or 15 minutes of Ujjayi breath. It's 6:30 a.m. for me here in Melbourne, Australia. It's time to shower and get ready for work and depart. I hope for you, whatever your day holds, that there is beauty and stillness and joy and friendship and laughter. So let's take the arms wide. Let's hold that intention. Gather all of the beauty and the joy that you can. Come to the heart space. Remind yourself of truth and integrity. Bow forward in deep respect. Let me start that again. Bow forward in deep respect of your integrity and all that you bring to your life and your practice. Have a beautiful day. Lovely to connect with you.